To me, Arrupe is an opportunity for transformation through encounter. I think what really sets it apart from other programs is that it intentionally puts students outside of their comfort zone and allows them to reshape their worldview in light of someone else's worldview.
We stayed for most of the week on the campus of Infocap. Which is a trade school for adults who want to learn a trade in order to better their living situation.
We got to work with this organization called Techo, which had a bunch of Chilean college students working to refurbish this community center that we helped them with. And having never met these people before, having a language barrier, and just genuinely not knowing anything about them and hardly anything about their organization, they welcomed us in with open arms, and we just gelled with them from the moment that we stepped foot on that campus. Whether it was over music, just over laughter. I mean, there's this really weird just feeling in the air when you're with people that you can accomplish a goal together and everybody seems to sync up and not really worry what your background was or where you're from or like who you know. And it was just this really genuine experience being there. Similar to marginalized places in the US, the community that we were working in had problems with crime, drugs, and poverty.
It's a very important learning point to know what's the reality that you're living. You cannot live every day saying, no, Chile, it's perfect, or where you live is perfect, because it is not. Nothing is perfect. And you will never be able to see that if you don't live it. You have to work with the community, you have to listen to the community, you have to adapt to their reality. And in order to adapt to their reality, you need to learn the reality.
And in a lot of other service immersion experiences that I've had, it was very much coming in and listening. Working with Techo allowed us to really have a mutual experience of working within a community that they were a part of. The project was not ours, it was our shared experience together. So I think what sets it apart is Techo as a partner.
And I have had chances where I can live in the south and the north, even in an emergency when there's a big fires, big earthquakes. The whole country is together, but you cannot only get together when there's like national catastrophe. You cannot do only that, and then there's nobody to come here to help the people. It's an excellent experience where you can learn about your country, learn about yourself, learn about how much you can do, even though you're only one person. You can always do something. There's nothing that can stop you of doing even a little bit, and that little bit it will always touch something.
While working with Techo, we went outside of Santiago to the margins of the city to help refurbish a community center.
Throughout the 2 days, we worked on building a patio, we worked on a community garden, we built a roof and a little awning as a place to sit.
One thing is to make a house or a water tower, but another thing is to build a site like this one. Children or grown-ups can develop themselves and escape their reality, and not only escape, but live it another way. They can find ways of expressing themselves that normally ends on violence or normally ends on drug use.
Porque el desafío que tenemos por delante de construir ciudades inclusivas es un desafío que Techo no puede lograr solo. Y el desafío de los college de formar mente y cabezas pensando en un mundo más justo tampoco es un desafío que puede lograr nosotros. Y creo que es lo que necesitamos, así que espacios de colaboración necesitamos.
Working with Techo was a really wonderful experience because they approached their service in a very similar way to how Arrupe approaches it. Every day we started off with some sort of activity to get everyone in the mindset to be present to the day and the day's activities. And every day we ended the day with an activity that allowed everyone to come together and get into a headspace where we could process all the work that we had done that day. For me, that was really special because it was a reflection of how we structure our Arrupe program.
I think the reflections point towards something that makes us a little bit uncomfortable sometimes, and recognizing that these trips, as much as they are about encountering the other and learning from them, it's largely about us. The reflection shows that this is about our transformation and making sure that these students are coming back with a changed worldview and a changed perspective so that they can change things here the same way that they changed things there. I think for me as a mentor, this experience was really enlightening in a lot of ways. I've been a student leader on different trips, but being a mentor and being able to really step back and watch the student leaders and also the students themselves engage in this experience showed me the profound level of impact that this has.
It's kind of funny to think about on our first Arrupe pre-trip retreat. It's like the first time the whole Arrupe community kind of comes together. We had to draw with watercolor paint where we saw God the most, and I drew a picture of a sunset. And one of the nights on the trip, we all kind of just were like, let's go watch the sunset on top of one of the buildings that we were staying in. And I'm not exaggerating, it was probably one of the most beautiful sunsets I've ever witnessed. To be up on the building with the entire group, this community that we've been building for the whole year, it was like a moment of community and like love within my group and within the city of Chile that like it's so hard for me to put into words. And it was so clear that like God was with us and he was all around us.